Mixtapes and DVDs is my era.
Facts.
We did it better.
Yep.
Pelly leathers,
Facts.
ACG boots. We 80s babies and early 90s when it got grimy. I was out of this world, you could not find me unless you check the lobby. Hustling was my hobby. We was lobby boys before Jim Jones. You could catch me at Harlem eating Jimbos.
Now, in my previous video on the whole Prodigy and Lakey the Kid beef, I explained how Prodigy was knocked out and robbed by Sherm the Worm, and Prodigy believing that Lakey the Kid had some involvement in the whole situation.
This worm come and snuff me from the side, and while I'm on the ground, he take my chain with my neck.
Now, what I didn't mention was after the whole altercation that happened at the tunnel, that Lakey and Worm and their guys came back to the hood, and another altercation will go down between Sherm and Big Noyd. Now, if you're not familiar with Big Noyd, he's another rapper out of Queensbridge, and he's highly affiliated with Mob Deep, and he appeared on every album of theirs up until their G-Unit release for Blood Money. Big Noyd was also featured on Mob Deep's hit record for Burn that featured Vita of Murder Inc. Now, Big Noyd signed to Tommy Boy Records in 1993, and over the years he put out a decent amount of albums and collaborated with artists like Joel Ortiz, 40 Glock, Mob Deep, and Cormega. Now, according to street legend Sherm the Worm, Mob Deep crew got into it with a family member of his from Jamaica, Queens, so he decided to teach them a lesson and get at them. Now, supposedly, Worm see them in the hood on a bench, and he pulls out on them, and the dudes from Mob Deep camp scatters. Now, Sherm the Worm and Prodigy see each other once again after that whole situation went down, and there'll be a lot of tension between the two from their past run-ins. This situation ended with shots being fired at the truck that Prodigy was in. Now, Sherm the Worm will eventually be arrested on a parole violation because his twin mother filed a police report on him, and he was on parole at the time. Now, even though this beef was supposed to be left alone because Lakey was trying to bring everybody together, I guess all they past run-ins is where all the hatred came from for Mob Deep that Lakey spoke on. Now, after the whole altercation happened with Mob Deep after they performed at the tunnel, there'd be another situation that go down with Big Noyd and Sherm the Worm when they got back in their hood. They seen Big Noyd driving down 21st, and they got him to pull over. He hopped out to have a conversation with Lake. Now, while he was talking to Lake, Sherm the Worm gets a beer bottle from his homeboy and hits Noyd upside the head with the beer bottle and then took his chain. Now, when Noyd got his chain taken, it was already a green light on them. You get what I'm saying? After they took Prodigy chain, so it was a green light on anybody that ran with them. Now, Prodigy was able to get his chain back because E-Money Bags and Troy reached out to Sherm. Now, Sherm said him and his guys already came to an agreement that if Lakey made that call that Prodigy had to get his chain returned, they was going to do so because he felt what he did was wrong, being that he was on Lakey the Kid time and Lakey ain't have nothing to do with it. Now, Lakey the Kid decided that Prodigy should get his chain back, and Sherm the Worm said the honorable thing was to give it back, but they don't take nothing and give it back without you paying. So I guess he either wanted to be paid for the cars that was stolen at the tunnel or want to be paid to return the chain. Now, according to Sherm the Worm, Prodigy and Havoc both gave him their numbers, but when he contacted P, he was in the hospital at the time due to his sickle cells. But he did get to run into Havoc at the club, and Havoc basically told him even though it's between him and P, he was going to make sure he'd still be paid. Now, HlT got involved with the whole situation, and he gave Sherm the money he wanted. Now, I'm not sure if Big Noyd ever got his chain back, though. By age 12, Saigon began doing robberies with a 2.5 he gotten from a kid in exchange for a gold bracelet he found. Now, even though he ain't have any bullets or a clip for the gun, he'll send one of his older friends to get bullets. That way he could keep one in the head of his gun while he do his robberies. At age 16, Saigon to go to jail after beating up a guy and shooting up his car after an altercation over a female. Now, after coming home from that bid, Saigon was bumped in the club where he decided to shoot the guy who bumped him and accidentally struck an innocent bystander. Now, Saigon to do 6 years for this crime and eventually come home. But in the DVD era, Saigon to find himself in a situation that he might not made it out of. Now, according to Saigon, he's in front of Chelsea Diner, and a dude come up to him to take a picture with him like he's a fan. Now, when he goes to take the picture with the dude yap his chain. Saigon says he go snatch his chain back, and start fighting the dude. Now, Saigon is with one of his guys, and he believes this dude is alone, but he wasn't alone. He was with somebody else. And that person he was with comes and stabs Saigon in the side of his head with a bottle. Saigon and his man gets the best of them, take their phones and everything, but Saigon is bleeding out. Now, Saigon bought a new car, and he didn't want to get in his car and ruin the seats or anything with his blood.
The reason why I almost died is because I bought my first car, and I didn't want to get no blood in my Mercedes.
So, basically Saigon didn't want to mess his car up with the blood, but he ended up getting in his car anyway and driving to the hospital, and he lost 2.5 pints of blood and had to get a blood transfusion. And they also said if he didn't get in the car and come when he came, he would have died. But Saigon's alive and well. Salute to him.